The Chicago Bears just got a huge update when it comes to Trey Smith, arguably the top free agent in this cycle and certainly a top target for Ryan Poles. We're going to tell you what that is, react to it, plus a couple of coaching nuggets and one other news item that I'm not a huge fan of. So plenty to get to. My name is Harrison Graham. We got that all coming up next here on Chicago Bears Now. But I had a video idea that I was kind of matriculating for you guys. But if you guys don't want it, I won't do it. So who wants a perfect offensive line plan video? Because that is my thought here on today's show. 50 new subscribers, and we will do it. If not, maybe you guys want different content. So hit that sub button if you want that video. Is Trey Smith not going to get franchise tagged by the Kansas City Chiefs? Well, according to arguably the top Chiefs insider, that is the case. Nate Taylor via The Athletic. He's covered the Chiefs for a very, very long time. He wrote up today that Trey Smith is expected to be the most coveted offensive lineman this year in free agency. The Chiefs are not expected to place the franchise tag or the transition tag on Smith, according to a league source. And obviously, if you're the Bears, all you need is a shot, right? And that shot is Trey Smith entering free agency, hitting the open market, and you got to be ready to pounce when that opportunity comes, because a player of this caliber very rarely hits the open market because teams don't let go of their best players, especially contending teams, especially on the offensive line. Now, does this report mean there's no chance it gets tagged? Of course not. There's always a chance until the window closes on March 4th. But Taylor's pretty tapped in, and the Chiefs have some cap concerns, which we talked about yesterday. I could definitely see this being the case because you look at the franchise tag costs, over $25 million for the non-exclusive tag, still almost $23 million for the transition tag. That's a lot of money for a team who's got about $1 million in cap space. They're going to have to move a lot of money around just to even sneak him under the tag, which then means that that's the exact cap hit number, which the Chiefs would probably rather not do. They would probably rather try to do this, which Nate Taylor wrote as well, which was the Chiefs should do their best to keep one of the best players by offering Smith a 4 or 5 year contract, which means they can control the cap number for this year, push money down the road. Smith played 655 pass blocking snaps and didn't allow a sack last season. He has started 67 of 68 games. The Chiefs' goal of trying to provide the best protection for Patrick Mahomes should include Smith staying in Kansas City. He's kind of outlining why they should try to keep Smith, but the reporting part was that he does not expect them to put the franchise tag under it. We'll see if they're able to obviously lock him down in a long-term deal before free agency opens. Now, you look at the guard market and how it's kind of exploded in recent years with 4 guys averaging $20 million per year or more on new deals. Obviously, several others getting lots of money too. A couple of these guys are free agents as well. Zach Martin, Brandon Scherf. They will not be making that amount of money on their next contracts. Martin could even retire, so we'll see what happens there. But will Trey Smith hit free agency? That's the big question after this report. Like, let's say they don't tag him. That doesn't mean he hits free agency. The Chiefs could still re-sign him if he agrees to terms. But if I'm Trey Smith, if I'm his agents and representation, I have not made that much money in the NFL. I was a 6th round pick, so he's made like $3 million in 4 years. Now, I'm sure with endorsements, other stuff, maybe he's got 4 or 5 million bucks. But this is his time to get paid. You're probably not going to get a larger contract than this one you're about to get right here. Unless the Chiefs are making me the highest paid guard in the NFL, I'm testing the open market. Because if I'm Trey Smith, yeah, I'd love to stay in Kansas City. This is a Super Bowl contender, but I've already won 2 Super Bowls. I have not been paid yet. Like, if he was a 2nd round pick, maybe he'd take a slight discount. 6th round pick, I don't think he's taking a discount. He's got to cash in while he can. I expect him to test the market unless Brett Veach makes him the highest paid guard before free agency begins. And obviously, again, if he hits the open market, then the Bears have their opportunity to pounce and bring him in. If you want Trey Smith in Chicago, type me down in the comment section below. I want to get him here. I think it's a top 10 guard in the NFL. Yes, you're going to have to overpay a little bit. That's reality, but this is a player worth overpaying for, so I'm spamming my me down in the comment section below. And that is what Ryan Poles should do. If he hits the open market, at noon Eastern. I forget that time on March 10th. I think that's when free agency officially opens, the legal tampering period. I'm offering him this contract right here, right off the rip. I'm not even messing around. We're going to give you $22 million per year, which makes you the highest paid guard on an annual basis. We're going to give you $70 million guaranteed, which is more than any other guard, and we're going to give you 5 years. And you take it or leave it. Now, he might say I'm going to listen to other offers, but that's where I'll start. And I'd be willing to go up to 23, maybe even 24 if I'm Ryan Poles. But I am swinging a big bat there right off the beginning to try and get this guy locked in because you just need him. It really is that simple. You need Trey Smith. Now, I said yesterday if he were to get tagged, I wouldn't trade a premium pick, then pay him that type of money. But if he hits the open market, like, it would almost be a failure, in my opinion, if you couldn't get him. Now, maybe you offer him a big contract, he talks back to the Chiefs, and they match that contract. Okay, like you tried if you did that, but if you offer him a big contract and you lose out to another team, like, to me, that's almost a failure. Now, get ready. There's going to be competition for Trey Smith's services because, again, a player like this in his prime at 26 years old doesn't become available that often, and teams always need offensive linemen. New England Patriots, ton of cap space, second-year quarterback just like the Bears, need to protect Drake May. Arizona, they could use an interior pass rusher. Raiders have almost $100 million in cap. They could add him. The Giants could put him in there depending on what they do at quarterback. I wouldn't rule out the Vikings in the division to try and make a splash for Trey Smith. I think New England in particular would be the team to watch out for. They're going to throw some wild money out in free agency, I would expect, this offseason just due to how much they have and the fact that they have a talented young player in Drake May. You got to be willing to spar with this team and outbid them for Trey Smith. So Ryan Poles, Ben Johnson, get your big boy pants on. If he hits the market and you don't get him, you're going to get met with a lot of criticism unless the contract is just completely outrageous and they reset the market by like 25%. But if you can't reset the market with them at a lower percentage of resetting the market, I don't know what you expect. Like if you offer him like 19 a year, like I don't think that's gonna cut it. So we'll see what plays out here. I think this is good news. I think this is a strong report from Nate Taylor. He's very tapped in with Kansas City. They of course could decide to tag him, but as of now, I would say it's more unlikely than likely that they do. Okay, we are sponsored by Prize Picks here on today's episode of Chicago Bears Now. Basketball is heating up as both at all levels. A lot of big games coming up after the All-Star break and so on and so forth. And listen, get in on all of the major action. You set lineups of 2 or more players and pick more or less based on the stat projections. Prize Picks makes available points, rebounds, assists, combo stats, three-pointers made, blocks, steals. You got goals in hockey, goals in soccer. Darts are available. You got TGL. Anybody checking that out? All kinds of stuff out there for you guys. So get going with Prize Picks today. I got a little 2-player lineup for tonight. Luka Doncic, more on his points, rebounds, and assists. I think he'll start to ramp up more now that he's had some extra time off. Josh Green, more than 6.5 points. He averages almost 8 points per game. So like him to hit the more there. That first couple games after the break there, you could see teams kind of being lackadaisical on defense. So I could see Green hitting the more on that one. $10 to win 30, but you can win up to 1,000 times your money on certain lineups today. Pick more, pick less. It's Prize Picks and get a $50 bonus when you sign up and play your first lineup for just $5. That's the deal we're offering you. Link is in the comments and in the description. prizepicks.com/CLNS. Okay, let's get to a few coaching updates, then one other nugget before we get out of here. A couple of other coaching hires have been made. A series of Brad Biggs tweets here that we'll go through as he makes the note, because you've seen this with other teams that the team Twitter account will just tweet out, here's our coaching staff for 2025, and the Bears haven't done that, and he's saying that's likely because Johnson's staff has not been 100% finalized. Peter Noe is expected to be promoted to head strength and conditioning coach. He's been with the team for 8 seasons in total in 2 stints, including the last 2 years. We'll see what he brings to the table if that's the case. I would say the Bears have had, not kind of a lot of injuries, so not sure what to make of that one. I'm not going to pretend to know a lot about Peter Noe, but certainly noteworthy there. Kevin Koch, who was an assistant the last 3 seasons as a defensive quality control coach. He's expected to be the assistant linebackers coach per big, so you've got that. And then Anthony Blevins, Gary Ross actually had this on Twitter several days ago, is expected to be the assistant special teams coach. And he's actually a doctor. It's an interesting nugget. Received a doctorate in instructional systems and workforce development from Mississippi State. So kind of a fun nugget there. I'm excited to see what the staff does. I still think they might be looking to add one more defensive backs coach under Al Harris and company. So we'll see, but certainly feels like the staff is basically filled out. But until the Bears tweet out the full staff or it's announced somewhere, I guess there's still room for an addition. But obviously the main positions are certainly filled at this point in time. I did want to get into this a little bit. A lot of reporters had this. The kind of the mass email was sent out that in a letter sent to season ticket holders, Kevin Warren announced that the team will implement a 10% average increase in season ticket packages for 2025. Last year they increased by 8%. That's a massive spike in my opinion. 2 years in a row. I mean the Bears lost 10 games in a row at one point last year. Like I get you're paying Ben Johnson money you never have before, and you want to kind of try to help replace some of that lost revenue, if you will. But like 10%, that's a lot. Like you don't even have a new stadium yet. Like when they build a new stadium, the price is going to go up a lot because you're paying for that stadium. It's going to be a nicer stadium, all that. That's understandable. 8% last year, 10% this year. Like I get it. Everything gets more expensive year after year. How about 2%? Like 10% increase, that's kind of tough. I think you're going to lose the PR battle on that one, especially considering you haven't had a playoff team since 2020, and that was kind of a fake playoff team getting in at 8-8. So, I think if you're a season ticket holder, if you're a fan, you have a right to have a gripe about this one, and I'm with you 100% because 10%, that is not a price to scoff at. Like if someone told me my house, my mortgage payment's going to go up 10% next year, like that's a lot. If it's 5%, it's like okay, that's kind of the cost of doing business, property taxes, all this different stuff. 10%, that's a little steep. Okay, what year will the Bears be in a new stadium? If you had to predict, now remember, it's going to take at least 3 years once they start the project. So Kevin Warren says it's going to start this year. Let's say it starts in December of 2025. I would say that probably means you're looking at opening day 2029. I don't think you're going to get in there in 2028 unless it starts, by this summer. So predict it for us. What year will the Bears be in a new stadium? All right, that's going to do it for this episode of Chicago Bears Now. We will be back later for more content, so stay tuned for that. Hit that subscribe button if you want that perfect O-line video, and we'll see you guys soon.